Welcome back, MTN Giants podcast previewing the Saints at the Giants. The 4-8 Saints go to the 2-10 Giants for a 1 p.m. matchup tomorrow. Currently, Saints favored by 5 points. No surprise, the Giants have a lot of guys that were starters even a few weeks ago out for this game. You would almost think they're trying to lose on purpose, but who the hell knows? I still don't think they're losing on purpose because, as I said before, I think Dable and Shane, they're not safe enough to blatantly tank. But based on the injury report, you'd kind of be suspicious. But we'll see who rolls out there tomorrow afternoon. There are new injuries to cover. Of course, there's Drew Lock starting over Tommy DeVito, who is healthy enough to play, but they're going with Drew Lock. I think that's the best decision to try and win games. I think Lock is better. It's not saying a lot, of course, but Taysom Hill for the Saints, a big part of their team, actually. He's out for the year with a torn ACL, took a rough hit on Sunday versus the Rams. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, they're still out for the Saints. The Saints are really down a lot of weapons. I mean, you could argue that 3 of their top 4 weapons, being Olave, Shaheed, Taysom Hill, not including Kamara, 3 of those 4 guys are out. So the Saints are without a lot of their playmakers. The Saints right now are 2-1 under their interim head coach, Darren Rizzi, so they've been playing better ball. And they were in that game versus the Rams last week. They had a chance to win that one. Some things didn't go their way, but they were in it for sure. So I would think the Giants lose this game, but I'm also lacking confidence because, as I've said numerous times, I am not a Derek Carr believer, not a fan of the way he plays, and I could just see a guy like that laying an egg and giving the Giants a win. So, of course, we'll do the score prediction at the end, but hope you guys enjoy. Leave a like, and let's get into it. Let's run through these injuries. As we know, there is no Dexter Lawrence, and even some other defensive linemen, guys, of course, that are not on Dex's level, but still guys that were playing. Nacho, Raheem Nunez-Roches, he's out this game. DJ Davidson's out. I think I may have saw Davidson went to IR. I could be lying about that. No, I was not. So Jordan Raanan said about a half hour ago that Davidson is going to IR. His season's most likely over. Even Armon Watts, who's made a couple plays, he's on IR, one of their defensive linemen. Bobby Okereke's out. He, of course, was the Iron Man last year. Of course, Okereke has not looked that great this year. Some people speculate he may be taking some plays off. So maybe losing him is not the biggest deal, but we'll see. There is a chance Deontay Johnson, the linebacker, is making a return at some point soon. I don't know if it's this game, but he should have a shot, of course, with the remaining 5 games or so with Okereke out for this game. And maybe they'll just keep him out the rest of the year. Once again, who the hell knows? Cordell Flott is questionable. That one popped up today, I saw, so he's kind of 50-50 for tomorrow. We'll see. Not like the Giants need him out to lose, but Cordell Flott has had his positive moments this year. There is no Deonte Banks. Once again, he missed Thanksgiving with a rib injury. He's still out. Evan Neal's questionable. It might benefit the tank if he plays because that guy is he's not very good. Of course, Evan Neal, he played well in that Panthers game, but since then he has been a train wreck, so whatever. We'll see if he plays or not. Malik Neighbors, a new injury. I saw it's a hip flexor. Of course, he's battled that groin injury. He's questionable. He was limited Thursday, did not practice Friday, so moving in the wrong direction. But we've seen this before where Neighbors doesn't practice on a Friday and still plays. So, you know, some of you might need him for fantasy. I am one of those people, so I hope he plays, but we'll see if he does or not. Jermaine Illuminor, who, of course, is filling in at left tackle, he is doubtful with this quad injury, did not play Thanksgiving. I saw Drew Phillips is leaning towards out at this point. I think I saw it might have been Raanan who said he's maybe expecting him to be out. Or maybe it was Dan Duggan. I forget now. But on to the Saints injury report. I mentioned off the top some of their big injuries. They're missing a lot of good skill players, as I mentioned. It's looking like their offensive lineman, I believe left guard Nick Saldiveri, he's going to be out for this game with a knee injury. Jawan Johnson should be good to go. Of course, he'll be playing more and probably getting more targets with Taysom Hill out. Eric McCoy, full practice Friday. I'm assuming he'll be good to go. Their Pro Bowl center. Cesar Ruiz, their guard. He's unspecified, of course, for his game status, but he did practice in full on Friday with a concussion, hoping he's out there, of course. Bub Means, he's out this game. I believe he went on IR at one point, so I don't think he was expected back anyway. Tyrann Mathieu, unspecified, but did practice in full all week. I'm assuming he's good. Kendre Miller, he should be playing. I saw he was activated. That was a very weird situation. I know Saints fans are aware of this, but their former coach, who was fired mid-season, Dennis Allen, put Kendre Miller on IR after the fact that Allen was let go and fired. they were really talking about Kendre Miller didn't really need to be on IR. They just thought it was one of those things where Dennis Allen did not like Kendre Miller, and therefore, as one of his parting gifts on the way out, he put Kendre Miller on the IR just to kind of screw him over, I guess. It was a very weird situation. There was a lot of, from the time Dennis Allen was the Saints coach and when they had Kendre Miller, like there were a lot of weird quotes between those two. I just felt like Dennis Allen just despised Kendre Miller, so... Anyway, so I'm happy for Miller that he's freed from that. Everything else here seems like, you know, status quo. One more, I also saw that Chris Hubbard was questionable in this game, and they elevated Tyree Phillips, their offensive tackle. So we might see an offensive tackle duo of Tyree Phillips and Evan Neal. So I'm assuming it won't go well if that's the case, but... Talking about the game now specifically, the Saints have not had the best defensive line production. I mean, they got Chase Young for a one-year deal. He has not been anything spectacular. I feel bad for Chase Young. He was really, like, you know, he was so great in college. His first year was really good, and then I feel like post-ACL tear, he has just not been the same guy, so it is a shame. Carl Granderson, of course, he's pretty good. Cam Jordan really fell off. It feels like Father Time has caught up to another NFL player, as it does to everybody, so he'll probably not be too much of an impact. I mean, Nathan Shepard is still there on that defensive line. Linebacker-wise, they're looking okay. Demario Davis, who is now, I want to see how old he is. He might be like 36. He's up there. He's 35, but almost 36, so he's almost there. Willie Gay, Pete Warner, like they have pretty good linebackers. The cornerback spot's interesting. They do have Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I did remember from Hard Knocks. The Giants were interested in taking him in round 2. Of course, he was taken, I think, maybe 6 to 8 spots before the Giants picked. They took Tyler Nubin, and Nubin's looked good so far, so it's not like it's that big of a deal. But the cornerback spot is rough for this Saints team. Of course, they traded Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders. They've lost Paulson Adebo. They're promising, I think, 4th-year corner for the year. So that's bad for them. But Tyrann Mathieu, of course, a veteran safety who still plays at a pretty high level. Will Harris on the other side is like not terrible. So they have a decent defense. I feel like they're playing harder under Darren Rizzi. So the Giants, who already struggle enough as it is offensively, they're facing a defense that might be pretty good still, so we'll see. For the Giants offense, the receivers are staying the same. I'm assuming Neighbors is playing, so we'll just keep it at that. Of course, Daniel Bellinger gets a bump because Theo Johnson's out for the year, which is a damn shame. And we'll see what the offensive line is. I'm assuming left guard to right guard is all the same, Runyon, JMS, and Van Roten, but the tackle spots, who the hell knows? It might be Azudu at left tackle for all we know. It might be Tyree Phillips. It might be Chris Hubbard. Maybe Hubbard plays right tackle. Maybe they put, maybe Evan Neal is like benched. I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens, but the offensive line is going to be pretty bad from what we can tell here based on the injuries. Running back Tyrone Tracy. And Tracy, I looked at the snap counts from last week. We all saw on Thanksgiving that it was Devin Singletary who drew the start in that game, and I'm like, as a fantasy manager, I'm like, oh my god, like this is terrible because I started Tracy on a couple teams, but he actually ended up playing his usual snap percentage. He played 73% of the snaps last week, Tyrone Tracy, which is a very good amount. Devin Singletary played 21%. Eric Ray was at 6%, so I'm assuming coming off a game where he did not fumble, I'm assuming that Tyrone Tracy once again plays 70+% of the snaps, but who the hell knows. Drew Lock at quarterback. As I said earlier, I think that gives the Giants a better chance to win, but Lock, of course, makes his mistakes, does not take care of the ball. But in terms of arm talent and making throws downfield, Lock, of course, is no question better than Tommy DeVito. Looking at the other side of the ball, the Giants' defense versus the Saints' offense. The Saints' offense, as I said, it's a mess right now. Marquez Valdes-Scantling has been an interesting, I guess, development over the past few weeks. So MVS was a Buffalo Bill to start the year. I believe he got cut after the Amari Cooper trade to, of course, free up a roster spot. And Valdes-Scantling, ever since he stepped in with the Saints, has been like a sensation. His first game versus Atlanta, it might have been his second game, but like his first game of actually playing a lot. He had 3 catches, which is mid, but 109 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the Atlanta Falcons in Week 10. That was the first game with their new head coach. In his second game, 2 catches, which, once again, not good, but 87 yards. We know this guy's a big play guy. Another touchdown. Last week against the Rams coming out of their bye, 2 catches once again, not good, but 36 yards and a touchdown. So he's had 4 touchdowns in the past 3 games, a 3-game touchdown streak for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I'm assuming it won't last, but the Giants, of course, are a team that if he were to score again, it would not surprise me if it was against the Giants. But the Saints have played 3 straight home games. Of course, that dome is great for offensive environments. So I'm going to say that he doesn't score this week, but it's tough to predict because all it takes is one play for a guy like Valdes-Scantling to find the end zone. So we'll see if they have that connection again. They have other receivers. Mason Tipton, it kind of feels like a cardio guy. He just runs out there, doesn't do much. Cedric Wilson, a former Cowboy. We probably remember him from, I think he was like on Dallas in like 2020, 21. Went to Miami for a year or 2. But yeah, he's all right. He makes some plays for them. Jawan Johnson, Foster Moreau at tight end. They're okay. They're fine. Of course, Taysom Hill being out is pretty big. I mean, Taysom Hill had a couple of massive games. He had that one game against, I think it was Cleveland. He had like 42 fantasy points that week. It was insane. So he's out for the year, as I mentioned. Their offensive line is actually not bad. Fuaga, the rookie, I loved him coming out of college. He's had a pretty nice year at left tackle. Even like Lucas Patrick, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Trevor Penning. Like, this is a good offensive line. So we've seen Alvin Kamara have a lot of success this year. Kamara, who is now 29 years old, did sign an extension with the Saints during the season, but he's looked great. And even Derek Carr, who, you know, I'm not a big fan once again, but Derek Carr has had the highest PFF grade of his entire career this year. His highest previous was 2016, an 85.3 grade in 2016. This year, it's 85 or 86.5 for his PFF grade in 2024. So Derek Carr, if you go on PFF and go based on their grades, is having the best year of his career. He's ranked 5th out of 39 qualified quarterbacks. So I'm not buying into it, but of course there is a new offensive coordinator with the Saints. The Saints scored like 91 points the first 2 games. They got off to such a good start with, I'm trying to remember his name now. His dad was Gary Kubiak, Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator. So the offense has looked better this year as compared to what it was with Pete Carmichael. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to get to. I do think, and I've said this for a few weeks now, if the Giants are going to win another game this year, it's probably this game. So I do come into it pretty concerned, but we'll see. I feel like the Saints have a good amount of injuries, but the Giants do as well. Of course, Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, Okereke now, Flott is questionable, Illuminor is doubtful, Ojulari on IR. Like, the Giants have injuries of their own. But I do think there's a world where the Giants can win this game. I will pick the Saints to win. I'm still deciding in my mind right now about the spread. It is, 5.5 right now. Or no, it's 5 actually. So you know what? Let's just say a score right now for the hell of it. Let's go with 23-17, Saints win. So that would mean the Saints cover as a -5. So yeah, 23-17, I think that's possible. I'll take the Saints to win it. Of course, the Giants now at 2-10. I want to check Tankathon because I know things are kind of tight with the whole strength of schedule and, who has the easier schedule and whatnot. But right now, the Giants are 3rd. They're right behind Jacksonville, who's in 1st. Their strength of schedule, Jacksonville, is below 500, a 0.49 strength of schedule, so that is not good news for us. But Jacksonville, who is probably without Trevor Lawrence the rest of the year, I felt good about them at least winning one more game. I don't know if they will now, so we'll talk about it during the reaction tomorrow because, of course, 24 hours from now, the Giants might win. I hope not, but there's that chance it happens, and talking about this would kind of be a moot point. And, of course, the Raiders, who have a strength of schedule at 53. I mean, that's closer to us. The Giants are at 53 as well. So, there's a chance that based on how the matchups go, the Giants might have the 2nd pick, assuming all these teams lose this week. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, if the Giants are picking top 2, once again, I'm fine with it. It seems like it's Shedeur and Cam Ward in that top tier, so I just hope it's like they have a chance to get one of those guys. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, let's get into the week number 14 spread picks. For the spread picks, last week it didn't go great. I was 7-9 down to, I guess, 94, 83, and 4 on the year. And as you can see, I started off horrible. It was like L, all on Thanksgiving, a bunch of L's on Thanksgiving. I thought for sure I was going to take the Packers on that night game. I was very disappointed in myself when I listened back. Of course, the Chiefs, they don't cover big spreads, and luckily for me, though, I ended off on 4 straight wins, which really got my record back to at least something respectable. So shout out to those primetime teams. So anyway, on to week 14. It is Jets at Dolphins. Miami by 6 points. I'm assuming it's pretty good weather. I just like the Dolphins, though. I think the Dolphins, especially coming off a loss and having extended rest, I'm assuming Miami can beat the crap out of the Jets. I saw Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall are doubtful for this game. So I do like Miami to win this one by a good amount, so I'll take Dolphins by 6. Falcons at Vikings. Minnesota by 6 points. Wow, where is the Falcons' respect? You know, I'm not completely bought in on the Vikings, like, making a deep playoff run, but they are a better team, obviously, so the spread makes sense. But it's too far, in my opinion. It's a Kirk Cousins revenge game. His career might be on the line here. Like, Kirk Cousins is like a bad game away from being benched for Michael Penix. I will take the Falcons plus 6. Where is your Kirk Cousins faith? Especially for a 1 o'clock slate. Like, if it's prime time, maybe not, but yeah, I'll take the Falcons there. Saints at Giants. I'm taking Saints minus 5 on the road. Panthers at Eagles. Here we go. A big spread. Philly by 13.5. And I actually kind of agree with it. I think the Eagles win by a lot. Saquon Barkley might break the rushing record in this game. I know that's kind of crazy to say, but like just based on the matchup, you could not ask for something better. So anyway, I'll take Eagles by 13.5. I love the way they played recently. They just control the ground game just perfectly. Their defense is great right now, so I'll take Philly by 2 touchdowns in this game. Browns at Steelers. Pittsburgh by 6.5. Oof, wow, okay. So I know the Steelers are the much better team. Jameis can throw them out of this game. It is a big spread, of course, but I kind of want to take the Steelers, although I do think it can be a letdown game. So I think with that said, I'll take the Browns. I'm assuming the Steelers pull it out. They might win by 3, 4, 6, but I think the Browns can kind of keep it close. So I'll take Cleveland here, plus 6.5. Raiders at Buccaneers. Tampa by 6.5. I don't love what I've seen from the Buccaneers lately. Like, they're doing enough to win, but they're not winning by a lot. I don't think a team like this should be favored by 6.5, even though it is the Raiders who are just dog shit. But still, I will take the Raiders here, plus 6.5. I'm assuming they can keep it close, but who knows. Jaguars at Titans. Of course, let's go Jaguars if you're a Giants fan. It's Tennessee minus 3.5. Mac Jones starting. I mean, if you're going to this game, I just feel bad for you at that point. But so I'll take Jacksonville because I like the 0.5 hook here. It is more than a field goal. So yeah, I'll just take the Jaguars plus 3.5. These teams are close enough. Why not? Mac Jones is not the worst backup quarterback in the world. Or maybe he is, but still, he's had his moments. Seahawks at Cardinals. I saw no Kenneth Walker in this game for Seattle. Arizona by 2.5. I like Arizona. I think they win this game here. DK Metcalf's banged up. I mentioned that Kenneth Walker's out. Charbonnet is not the most efficient back. So, yeah, I do like the Cardinals here. I think they'll win this game. So, Cardinals minus 2.5 for me. Bills at Rams. Buffalo minus 3.5. This is going to be a good game. I just don't know who's going to win in real life. I just think it will be close. I kind of want to say the Rams, although I feel like I'll regret it. But why not? The gut is saying Rams. We'll take Rams plus 3.5 at home. Stick with your gut. Bears at Niners. Niners by 3. Of course, the Niners with a good amount of injuries and guys banged up. I saw Nick Bosa's out for this game. I think Trent Williams might be out for this game. Of course, McCaffrey's out for this game. His backup's out, Jordan Mason. So I know the Bears have extended rest. They have a new head coach. I do like that for them. So screw it. I'll take the Bears plus 3. I think there's a chance they win the game. The Niners know their season's over. I just think, there's a chance. So give me the Bears here. And the Niners have a very tough schedule remaining. Like, there is no shot they make the playoffs. I'd be stunned if they did. So I'll take Chicago here plus 3. Chargers at Chiefs Sunday night. It's KC by 4. These teams are close enough, in my opinion. I will take the Chargers. Give me the points. I'll just take the Chargers plus 4. I think they're alive to win the game. I hope it's not too cold. I kind of fear the LA team going into like Kansas City if it's like, 15 degrees and feels like 5 degrees with wind chill or something. But yeah, we'll see. I'll take the Chargers here as a +4. Bengals at Cowboys on Monday night. It is Bengals by 5.5. I just think, especially with the Bengals kicker being out, McPherson, I want to take Dallas. I think Dallas has some momentum on their side. They've had a lot of time off now. Like, they'll have basically Thursday to next Monday off. They, of course, played Thanksgiving. They're getting an extra day here. So, yeah, I'll take the Cowboys +5.5. I think that team kind of believes in itself now. Their defense, at least, is getting healthier. So, yeah, I'll take Dallas +5.5. We'll see what happens there. And then, of course, on Thursday, we had a great game. I've said this on Twitter. I think I tweeted this after the game. It feels like the Lions either win in some bullshit way like the Chiefs always do, or they win by 40. It feels like there's no in between. So, of course, the Lions get that victory. They go for the 4th down and 1 when most teams probably wouldn't have. They get it. And honestly, I don't know why people were so shocked by that. I'm going to check the exact scenario here. It was a 4th and 1 on Green Bay's 21. Like, I feel like with 43 seconds left, I know, like, maybe coaches that really stick to the book and are old-fashioned, they would just kick the field goal. I don't think going for it in that situation is too shocking. So I do agree with what they did. Of course, it almost didn't work as Jared Goff, like, tripped before handing the ball off to David Montgomery, but they picked it up. So the Lions get the dub. So anyway, hopefully the Giants, once again, stay with 2 wins, get the first overall pick. That's what we want at this point. I think way more people this year as compared to last year are on board for tanking, which is kind of ironic because last year's quarterback class was better. But anyway, we'll take it. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and hopefully the Giants find a way to get that L.